All right, so here we go back to our Pianist's Historic Guide to Historic Improvisation. We left off at page 11 and going over what we learned one more time. We learned how to start with a 1-4-5-1 progression. And then a descending 7/6 sequence, which sounds kind of like this. You can also do the 7/6 sequence putting the middle note up an octave, like this. So that's the two things we basically learned. And we looked at a bunch of examples of Bach having using that same opener in major and minor. Now we are here at this cadence 2-5-1. So I'm going to start reading here. Cadences conclude sections of music and confirm a key area. Cadences take many forms ranging from the simplest 5-1 progression to complex multi-chord events replete with highly active motions in all voices. For now, we will learn a simple 2-5-1 progression. The 2 chord will normally appear in the first inversion, 2-6. That's interesting to note. So it sounds like this. Okay, anyway. Note that in minor keys, the 2 chord is diminished. When possible, you may use a 2-7 chord, which will be incomplete, missing the 5th when played in 3 voices. Of course, you may use an incomplete 5-7 as well. 3 voices very often require incomplete chords. As long as each chord has at least a root and a third, all is well. So this is something I've been wondering about. I've noticed that the 5 chords often exclude the root. Anyway, we'll dig into that more, I suppose. Example 2.13 shows 10 possible 2-5-1 cadences, 5 in major and 5 in minor, starting in various positions. Note that some are triads only and some include chord sevenths. These are not only possible ways to play 2-5-1. As a start, though, you should acquire a mastery over this cadence in any position, e.g., no matter which chord factor is in the soprano as you start the pattern in any key. In the chapter on portamento, we will learn the historic approach to cadences. But for now, we will continue to use contemporary terminology with which you are probably familiar. So the exercises, I suppose we're going to be spending a lot of time learning these 2-5-1 cadences, which is similar to jazz. You will use this cadence countless times in your improvisation studies, so you may as well learn it in every key now. This investment of time will save you from stumbling around in your improvisations later. Example 2.14 shows 4 ways that a 7/6 sequence may connect with a 2-5-1 cadence, and a simple way to descend through the sequence until the bass reaches 4, which is, I think, a marking. I think they're talking about something on the next page. So let's take a look at these examples in 2.13. So yeah, the 2 chord looks like a 4 chord, but It's a first inversion. Okay, so that's the first one they show. And then I wonder why they use these in particular. Okay. 2-5-1 in looks like minor. They have 4 examples. Oops, sorry. Oh no, I'm missing the key here. And it's interesting voicing. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about example 2.14. Has the 7/6 thing, and there's something about until it reaches maybe measure 4. I don't know what this circle 4 means. I'm kind of confused by it. Which supports the 2/6 chord. The first 2 passages in the example show this possibility. In the third passage, the sequence starts with the bass on 4. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's read through these. Okay. So I read that an octave off on the bass, but that's okay. Okay, that seems to make sense. So somehow you're ending up on that. It does a 5-6-7-6 thing. And so when the bass note gets to the 4th scale degree, maybe that's what he's talking about. All right, let's check out this other one. Example 2. It doesn't sound very Baroque to me. It's interesting. The 7/6 cadence does, but not the 2-5-1s. Okay, here's example 3. Okay, and then there's another example. Okay. Each sequence, sorry. Let me look back a page here. In the third passage, the sequence starts with the bass on 4. So the numbers mean which scale degree, I think, which means the sequence would have to descend through a complete octave, seemingly disproportionately long. Therefore, it descends from 1, which it leaps upward to begin the cadence. The 4th instance shows the bass descending past 4, then going back up to it. Okay, so basically what they're saying is You're trying to get the bass note to reach the 4th scale degree to create a 2-6 chord. And then once you reach that 2-6 chord, you basically cadence out of the 7-6 sequence. Okay, I get it. Making a list of every way to connect sequences to cadence is impossible. We might as well try to make a list of all possible sentences that describe the weather. However, in language, you do not need to know every possible way to say something. You need to do it. You do need at least one if you want to be an interesting conversationalist. You might want a few more. Music is the same. Do not worry about every possibility. Instead, gain mastery over the examples given here and perhaps discover a few more on your own. Okay. So yeah, what he wants us to do is get good at getting out of a 7-6 cadence, 7-6 sequence with a 2-5-1 cadence. It kind of is just like wherever you want to start, you just need to get down to the 2-5-1 somehow. His example was to start from the root. For some reason, he's hooked on 3 voices. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's the easiest possible way. Let's try arpeggiating that. So, and let's put the okay, yeah, so I think I get the idea of it. In these examples, the bass starts from the root. Here it starts on the 2. So here it starts from the 4. And I see, okay. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it. I think I understand that concept. Probably should practice that more, but let's keep reading forward. Combining 3 techniques. Okay, so we know what's coming. Now we have 3 musical techniques. The page 1 opener, which is a 1-4-5-1 progression or a 1-2-5-1 progression. The descending 7-6 sequence and the 2-5-1 cadence. So now we're putting all 3 together. Exercise, use chords in 3 voices. Choose a key, play a page 1 launch, a descending 7-6 sequence, and conclude with a 2-5-1 cadence. Try the page 1 in 3 different positions, and note how this affects the length of your 7-6 sequence. Don't forget to try the 5-6 launcher as well. Try various ways of connecting with the 2-5-1 cadence by tracking the bass line and deciding how to get to the 4, okay, the 4th scale degree. Play in time, go as slowly as you like, but play musically. Do this in every key. Wow, that's a lot. And try various time signatures. So what, you have like 24 keys and 3 time signatures, let's say, so that's 24 times 3. That's insane. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to try a few examples. Noting the adjustments you must make for different meters, keep working at it until you can get all the way through while keeping steady rhythm. The more you repeat this exercise in a wide variety of keys, the stronger your improvisational thinking will become. So we're getting it's a pretty heavy lifting there for page 13. We have a long way to go, and he's asking us to do, I don't know, several hours or days worth of work. In the interest of getting through this book, I think I'm going to do this just a few different ways. So let's try F minor. So we have, no, sorry. Okay. And then we have to do this. We need to get to the 4. I moved a little slow, I had to think a lot, but I'm getting the idea. Let's try this in, so that was F minor, let's try in G major. Oh, so let's do a 2 chord. And then he said the 2 is usually inverted. So let's just do that. So we're trying to aim for the 4. Okay, so that time I put the 7/6 sequence in the middle instead of on top. Okay, let's do one more key. Let's do it in 3. So we're in 3/4 time in E flat major. No. Let's work on the minor ones, they're interesting. Let's do, so we did F minor, let's do B minor. Okay, I get the concept here. I'll work on it on my own time. Okay, modulations. So now we're on the next section here. Page 13. Music that stays in the same key too long can get boring. 18th century music changes key frequently and uses these harmonic contrasts as part of the drama. In short, pieces like dance suites, suite movements, major pieces usually move to the dominant by the midpoint and spend the second half of the piece getting back home. Minor pieces often go either to the relative major or minor dominant, and again use the second section to get home again. So talking about going to the 5 chord in either cases, or in the case of minor, getting to the relative major. Music can modulate to any key. We will start, however, with 4 modulations that are the most common in this style. From a major key, we will modulate to 5, and 6. Back home again, and back home again. From a minor key, we will modulate to 3 and 5 and back. So both cases include the relative major or minor and the 5 chord. The 5 in major is major, the 5 in minor is minor. So the 5 becomes 1. That's the key change. Modulation often requires 2 events which may happen in succession or simultaneously. First, we must alter the scale to match the new key. This is called a scale mutation. In doing so, we start to get the sound of the new key. Second, we must confirm the new key with a cadence. Example 2.15 shows these events in succession. Example 2.16 shows them happening at the same time. So scale mutation is basically an accidental which gets us into the new key. So example 2.15 is a 7/6 descending sequence, and there's an accidental there, which I assume is us going from C major to G major. Okay. So it starts here. Okay, so you probably couldn't tell, but there's an F natural here. And now it sneaks in an F sharp. Okay, and a scale mutation within the cadence. So I kind of think he's kind of saying that you just end up inserting the new accidental of the key into the 7/6 sequence somehow in the course of descending. So it's kind of tricky. It's like a sneaky way of getting to the new key. And then we have this scale mutation within the cadence. Let's find out what they're talking about here. So you get to the you just end up on a 2 chord, which doesn't have the accidental in it. And then you, instead of going, you end up, it's the 2 of the new key. So you don't change keys until the 2-5-1 cadence. Okay, I understand. Okay, example 2.17, 3 ways to exit a sequence to get to a new key. So this sequence is heavily used in changing keys here. It's hard to, I keep messing it up, hold on. That's a 1-2-5-1. Could be a 2 or a 4, actually. That's interesting. All right, so this goes way up here. Oops, I think I'm off. Something's off. Oh, I'm starting on the wrong melody note. That's the second way. And then okay, that's the third way. I think those are just examples. They're not like particularly important. I think he's just showing you a few different ways it could go. In our improvisation, sequences will connect to modulations, therefore we will learn to alter the scale during sequences to start the process of modulation. A note you must alter frequently is the leading tone of the new key. If you are in C major, you want to modulate to 5, you will need the leading tone of G, which is F sharp. At some point in your sequence, flip the Fs to F sharps. That will accomplish the first stage of modulation. The scale mutation, when modulating from a minor key to its relative major, the crucial scale mutation is lowering the minor key's leading tone. From C minor to E flat major, the B natural must be flatted. However, since sequences in minor use natural scale, the necessary scale mutation is already done once the sequence gets going. That makes sense to me. You don't use the leading tone in the 7/6 cadence. So, okay, reading on. Next, exit the sequence and play a cadence. Example 2.17 shows 3 ways to do that. Note that in this example, the sequence exits and goes to the new tonic, which is then confirmed after the fact with a 2-5-1 cadence. Okay, he's talking about what we just did. Okay, yeah, so basically you just kind of, whatever key you're going into, you need to make that key signature presented in the music. However, in minor, since the 7/6 sequence uses the natural minor scale, it's not going to be any different. There are no accidentals. Remember to make the final 1 chord land on a relatively strong beat. You can freely alter the rhythmic values of chords in a cadence in order to make things land on the beats you want. Let's see, let me read that. Relatively strong beat, that you can freely alter the rhythmic values of chords in a cadence in order to make things land on the beats you want. Oh, I see. So the harmonic rhythm could be 2 beats, could be 1, but always land on the 1 chord on beat 1. The chords before it can be manipulated to make it so you land on 1. Modulation to 5 and 4 from major keys and minor 5 from minor keys always involves finding the leading tone of the new key and introducing it into the sequence, either prior to or during a cadence. This sounds like a simple principle, but you will need to practice modulating quite a bit in order to become comfortable. Example 2.18 provides guidance. Okay, so if whatever key you want to go to, no matter what, you just need to know what the accidentals are. Exercise. Practice starting sequences in major keys and modulating to 5 or minor 4. Then start a sequence in a new key and modulate back to your first. Oh my goodness. Do the same for minor keys, moving to major 3 and 5 and back again. Note that the 6th scale degree in the bass will sometimes need to raise or lower. Okay. Examples. So it starts in D major. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So it modulates for such a brief moment. bounce back to D major. Okay, wow, that's interesting. Okay, I get it. And then 1 to minor 4 and then back. Sorry, try this. This is an F major. Oh, I'm sorry, not 4, 6. So it's a relative minor. Okay, so now minor to relative major. Okay. And then minor 1 to minor 5 and back. So this is in B flat major. I'm sorry, G minor. This is interesting. That's something I've never done before or thought to notice in the music. I wonder if it happens very often. Okay, I'm looking at the time here. I should probably stop here. So we are on page 15, and we stopped at, let me grab my pencil, which fell down on the ground. We need to start here with improvising a complete piece with chords. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned how to change keys in the process of a 7/6 cadence. And we learned how to modulate into a new key. And the way you do that is by doing the 7/6 cadence. There's no other way right now introduced to modulation. So that's the one way we know how to modulate. All right, moving slowly through this book. Next time we will check out this next section.